The Christmas dinner table fell silent. 25 people, 3 generations, all frozen, because the man they knew as Ada's devoted husband had just walked through the gate with another woman. Not a colleague, not a cousin. A woman wearing the exact same gold necklace he'd told Ada was too expensive this Christmas, and his hand was on her waist. But to understand how this Christmas became the one the family would never forget, let me take you back to Christmas morning. Ada's alarm rang at 6 a.m. on Christmas morning, but she had barely slept. Her mind kept replaying the conversation from 3 days ago when she'd asked Easy for money to buy Christmas food. "Business is slow, Ada," he'd said without looking up from his phone. "Just manage what you have." She'd used her own savings money she'd been putting aside from her teaching salary to buy rice, chicken, goat meat, and all the ingredients for the perfect family Christmas dinner. Now, standing in her kitchen, as the December harmattan breeze drifted through the window, Ada stirred the pot of jollof rice that had been simmering since 5 a.m. The aroma of tomatoes, curry, and thyme filled the house. She'd already fried the chicken yesterday, seasoned the goat meat, and prepared the salad. Everything had to be perfect. This was the first Christmas they were hosting Easy's entire family, and she wanted to prove she was a worthy wife. "Ada, you're awake already?" Her younger sister and Kem burst through the kitchen door at 7:30 a.m., tying her wrapper. "Sister, you look exhausted. Didn't you sleep?" "I slept small," Ada lied, forcing a smile. She didn't mention that Aze had come home at 2 a.m. smelling of expensive perfume that wasn't hers. She didn't mention how he'd barely touched her in 3 months. She didn't mention the bank alert she'd seen on his phone yesterday. N$500,000 withdrawn, when she had nothing. Nekim started chopping vegetables, stealing glances at her sister. "Where is Eze? Still sleeping?" "He left already," Ada said quietly. "Around 9 a.m. He said he had an important business call." "Business call? On Christmas morning?" Nekem's voice rose. "While you're here cooking for his entire family?" "Nekem, please. Not today." Ada's hands trembled as she adjusted the pot. "I just want everything to be perfect." By 10 a.m., their mother Mama Ada arrived. A large pot of her famous egusi soup balanced on her head. The older woman took one look at her daughter's face and knew something was wrong. "Ada, Kedu, you look worried. Where is your husband?" "He went out, Mama. He'll be back before everyone arrives." Mama Ada set down her pot with a heavy sigh. "That man. I hope he doesn't disgrace us today." The words hung in the air like a prophecy. Ada arranged the Christmas decorations, red and green balloons, a small artificial tree with blinking lights, and her best dishes laid out on the table. She'd bought Easy a new watch with her last savings, wrapped in gold paper, hoping it would make him smile at her the way he used to, hoping he'd remember why he married her. "Ada, stop worrying," Enkem said, hugging her sister from behind. "Everything will be fine. The food is perfect. The house is beautiful. You've done everything right." But as Ada stared at her phone, no message from Eze, no call, a cold feeling settled in her stomach. By noon, the compound was filling with family. By 1 p.m., the food was ready. By 2 p.m., Ada was smiling despite everything. By 3 p.m., her smile would vanish forever. "Ikenem, Merry Christmas!" The compound exploded with voices as family members arrived one by one. Uncle Obi came first, the eldest and most respected member of the family, his walking stick tapping against the concrete. Behind him came Ada's cousins, aunties carrying coolers of drinks, uncles in their best agbada, and children running wild with excitement. "Ada, my daughter!" Auntie Blessing pulled her into a crushing hug. This jollof smells like heaven. Where is Eze? We must greet him. He's coming soon, Auntie. Please, sit down. Eat, drink." Ada gestured to the chairs arranged under the large tree in the compound. More family streamed in. The compound transformed into a festival of colors. Women in bright Ankara prints, men in traditional attire, children in matching Christmas outfits. The air smelled of perfume, fried meat, and anticipation. At 12:30 p.m., Easy's parents arrived. Papa Easy, a tall man with gray hair, looked around immediately. "Where is my son?" "He went to handle some business, Papa. He'll be here soon." Ada's voice was steady, but her hands twisted her wrapper nervously. Mama Eze, a stout woman with sharp eyes, pursed her lips. Ada, you're cooking alone? Where is my son that he leaves his wife to prepare for the whole family? There was accusation in her tone, as if Easy's absence was somehow Ada's fault. Uncle Obi called for silence. The family gathered in a circle as he performed the traditional kola nut ceremony. He held up the kola nut, said prayers to the ancestors, and asked for blessings of unity, prosperity, and protection for the family. May this Christmas bring us closer together. May our children prosper. May our marriages be strong. He broke the kola nut and passed pieces around. Ada accepted her piece, the prayer about strong marriages piercing her heart like a needle. By 2 p.m., the food was served. The table was a masterpiece: mountains of jollof rice, golden fried rice, crispy chicken, tender goat meat swimming in pepper sauce, fresh salad, chin-chin, and bottles of malt and Coke sweating in the afternoon heat. The family ate with enthusiasm, praising Ada's cooking. Ada, this jollof is perfect, Uncle Obi declared. You are a true wife. She learned from the best. Mama Ada beamed with pride. Children ran around playing with new toys. Men gathered under the tree discussing politics and business. Women clustered together, gossiping and laughing. It was exactly the kind of Christmas Ada had dreamed of. Except her husband wasn't there. At 2:45 p.m., Ada stood by the gate, checking her phone for the 100th time. Nkem joined her. Sister, are you okay? I'm fine, Ada whispered, but her eyes were wet. Her phone rang. Ezzy, I'm 5 minutes away, he said, and hung up before she could respond. Ada hurried back to the gathering, relief flooding through her. He's almost here, she announced. Uncle Obi nodded approvingly. Good, we need him for the toast. Mama Ada leaned close to her daughter. Ada, I don't like how he's acting, coming this late, on Christmas. Mama, please, he's here now. At exactly 3:07 p.m., the gate creaked open. Every head turned. Smiles spread across faces. They were ready to welcome him home, ready to celebrate together, ready for the perfect family Christmas. Then the smiles died, because Ezzy was not alone. Time seemed to slow down. Ezzy walked through the gate in a crisp white senator outfit, his shoes polished, his smile bright and confident. But behind him, stepping into the compound like she owned it, was a young woman in a tight red dress that hugged every curve. Her makeup was flawless. Her hair was perfectly styled in Brazilian weave. And around her neck, gleaming in the afternoon sun, was a thick gold necklace with a heart-shaped pendant. The exact necklace Ada had admired in the jewelry store 3 weeks ago. The exact necklace she'd asked Eze to buy her for Christmas. The exact necklace he'd said was too expensive right now. Eze's hand rested casually on the woman's waist. The compound fell into absolute silence. 25 people frozen mid-movement. Uncle Obi's hand stopped halfway to his mouth, a piece of meat suspended on his fork. Children stopped running. Even the chickens in the corner seemed to pause their clucking. The only sound was the faint hum of the neighbor's generator and the pounding of Ada's heart. Ada felt everything happen at once. Her breath stopped, her vision blurred, her hands went cold. She watched her husband, the man she'd cooked for since 6 a.m., the man whose family she'd been entertaining all afternoon, the man whose bed she'd shared for 5 years, stand there with another woman wearing the Christmas gift that should have been hers. Merry Christmas, everyone. Sorry I'm late. Easy's voice boomed across the compound, cheerful and oblivious. Or was it deliberate? Ada couldn't tell anymore. Mama Ada stood up so fast her chair scraped against the ground. Her hand flew to her mouth. Jesus Christ. Papa Eze squinted, confusion written across his face. Eze? Who is this? The young woman, tall, light-skinned, and completely unbothered by the stares, smiled and waved. Merry Christmas. I'm Ngozi. Her voice was high-pitched and sweet, like a child's. Eze cleared his throat. Everyone, this is Ngozi. She's my business partner. The lie was so obvious, so insulting, that several aunties gasped audibly. She had nowhere to go for Christmas, so I invited her to join us. You know, Christmas spirit and all that. Business partner. The words echoed in Ada's head. Business partner doesn't wear your hand on her waist. Business partner doesn't wear the gold necklace your wife begged for. Ngozi touched the necklace, drawing everyone's eyes to it. Yes. Eze is so kind. He even bought me this beautiful Christmas gift. Isn't it gorgeous? She smiled innocently, completely unaware, or was she, of the bomb she'd just dropped. Ada's mind went blank, then flooded with memories. 3 days ago. Ada. I can't afford that necklace right now. Last week. Business is slow, manage what we have. Yesterday. Bank alert, in 500,000 withdrawn. 2 months ago. I'm traveling for business. I'll be back Sunday. 1 month ago. Coming home at midnight, smelling like perfume. Everything clicked into place, like a puzzle from hell. Enkem moved quickly to her sister's side, grabbing her hand. Ada. But Uncle Obi was faster. He stood up, his face dark with anger. Easy. A word. Now. His voice was thunder. He pulled Easy aside to the corner of the compound, but in the silence, everyone could hear every word. Have you lost your mind? Uncle Obi's voice was low but deadly. Your wife is sitting here. Your mother is sitting here. Your family is sitting here. And you bring another woman into this compound on Christmas Day? Ez's confidence wavered. Uncle, it's not what it looks like. She's just a friend. She had nowhere to go. Don't insult my intelligence. Uncle Obi's walking stick hit the ground. We are not blind. We are not stupid. That's when Ada did something nobody expected. She didn't scream. She didn't cry. She didn't throw things. She didn't run into the house. Instead, she smiled. A cold, calm, terrifying smile. She stood up slowly, smoothing her wrapper. She walked past her shocked mother, past her worried sister, past the frozen family members, straight to where Eze and Ngozi stood. And she said 5 words that changed everything. Please, join us for dinner. The entire compound went still. Mama Ada grabbed her daughter's arm. Ada. What are you? It's fine, Mama. Ada's voice was honey-sweet, but her eyes were ice. She turned to Ngozi with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. Ngozi, please, come sit. Right here, next to Eze. Since he invited you, you must be very important to him. Eze's face went pale. Ada, listen. Sit down, Eze. Ada's voice cut through his words like a knife. You said she's your business partner. You said she had nowhere to go. So let's show her proper hospitality. It's Christmas, after all. Ngozi, either too clueless or too bold to read the room, smiled and sat down. Thank you so much. The food smells amazing. Ada personally served them both. She piled jollof rice high on Ngozi's plate. Added the best pieces of chicken. Scooped extra salad. Poured a cold bottle of malt. Every movement was deliberate, controlled, terrifying. The family watched in shocked silence, wondering if the food was poisoned. It wasn't. Ada's revenge was far more sophisticated than that. While serving, Ada spoke, her voice carrying across the now silent compound. Ngozi, that's a beautiful necklace. Ngozi beamed, touching it again. Thank you. Eze gave it to me last week. I told him it was too expensive, but he insisted. He said I deserve beautiful things. The family gasped. Ada's smile never wavered. Last week? How interesting. Because 2 weeks ago, I asked him for that exact same necklace for Christmas. From the exact same store. He told me we couldn't afford it. He said business was slow. Complete silence. You could hear hearts beating. Eze's hand trembled, reaching for Ada's arm. Ada, not here, please. We can talk at home. Ada stepped away from his touch like it burned. Not here? But Eze, you brought her here. You brought your business partner to our family Christmas. So let's talk about business. She turned back to Ngozi. Ngozi, has he been taking you out? Nice restaurants? Hotels? Ngozi, finally sensing something was wrong, but not understanding what, nodded slowly. Yes, every weekend for the past 3 months. He's very generous. Last week we went to that expensive place in Lekki. Every weekend, Ada's voice rose. Every single weekend for 3 months. While he told Emmy he was at business meetings. While he told Emmy we had no money for Christmas. While I used my own salary to buy food for his family. Aunties began whispering. Uncle Obi's face darkened further. Papa Eze stood up. Eze, what is this disgrace? Mama Eze tried to intervene. Maybe there's an explanation. Oh, there's an explanation. Ada pulled out her phone. Her hands were steady now, fueled by righteous anger. Would you all like to see the business meetings? She held up her phone. On the screen, bank statements, hotel bookings, restaurant receipts. All from their joint account. The account AZ told her was empty. The account, he said, had no money for Christmas. December 1st, $95,000 at Transcorp Hilton. December 8th, $45,000 at La Casera restaurant. December 15th, $920,000 at a jewelry store. Ada's voice was clear, strong, all while I was begging him for $50,000 to buy Christmas rice. She swiped to photos. Screenshots from Ngozi's Instagram. Easy was tagged. Them at the beach. Him kissing her cheek. Them holding hands at a movie premiere. All while he'd told Ada he was traveling for work. The family erupted. Aunties shouted. Uncles cursed. Mama Ada wept. Ngozi's face changed from confusion to horror. She stood up so fast her chair fell over. Wait. You're his wife? For 5 years, Ada confirmed. But he told me, Ngozi's voice cracked. He told me he was single. He said he lived alone. He said, she turned to Eze, her face twisted with betrayal. You liar! The slap echoed across the compound. Ngozi's hand connected with Eze's face with such force he stumbled backward. You told me you were going to marry me, Ngozi screamed. You said after Christmas. You said you were introducing me to your family today. She ripped off the necklace and threw it at his feet. You used me. She grabbed her purse and stormed toward the gate, crying. At the entrance, she turned back to Ada. I'm sorry. I didn't know. I swear I didn't know. Then she was gone. Now it was just Eze, standing in the middle of his family, in front of his wife, his parents, his elders, on Christmas Day, wearing his expensive white senator, with nowhere to hide, and Ada wasn't done. As his mouth opened and closed like a fish out of water. Ada, baby, I can explain. Stop talking. Ada's voice was steel. She turned to Uncle Obi. Uncle, as the head of this family, I need your counsel on a matter of marriage. Uncle Obi stepped forward, his face grave. Speak, my daughter. My husband has disrespected me. He has brought shame to both our families. He has lied, stolen from our joint account, and brought his mistress to our family gathering on Christmas Day. According to our traditions, what should be done? The formal language, the calm delivery, it was more devastating than any screaming could have been. Uncle Obi turned to Eze, his voice booming. Easy, son of my brother, you have disgraced this family. You have insulted your wife in front of everyone who matters. You have violated every principle of marriage, honor, and respect. What do you have to say for yourself? Eze fell to his knees. Tears streamed down his face. I'm sorry. I made a mistake. Uncle, please. It was the devil. It will never happen again. Ada, please. Ada looked down at him. This man she'd loved. This man she'd cooked for at 6 a.m. This man she'd defended to her family. This man who'd just publicly humiliated her in the worst way possible. This wasn't his first affair, Ada said quietly. The compound went silent again. There was Gloria 2 years ago. Then Chidinma last year. Then Blessing 6 months ago. I have evidence of all of them. She showed more screenshots, more hotel receipts, more messages. Years of betrayal, carefully documented. I stayed quiet. I forgave. I tried to save our marriage, because that's what good wives do, right? Her voice cracked for the first time. I convinced myself it would get better. That he would change. That if I just loved him more, cooked better, looked prettier, he would stop. Mama Ada sobbed loudly. Kem held her sister's hand. But bringing her here? Ada's voice strengthened again. To our family Christmas, while wearing my necklace? That was the final disrespect. That was him telling me I'm worth nothing. She removed her wedding ring. The gold band caught the afternoon light. She'd worn it every day for 5 years, through good times and bad, through his lies and her tears. She placed it carefully on the table. I'm done. The words fell like an axe. I stayed for 5 years. I cooked. I cleaned. I supported your business when you had nothing. I respected your family, even when they didn't respect me. I kept your secrets. I smiled through the pain. Ada's voice was clear, unwavering. Today, you showed me exactly who you are, and I believe you. This marriage is over. Eze wailed. Ada, no. Please, I'll change, I'll do anything. But Ada was already walking away. Mama Ada jumped up and embraced her daughter. You are brave, my child. You are strong. Uncle Obi addressed the family. Let it be known that Ada has conducted herself with dignity and honor. She has the full support of this family. Papa Easy, his face aged 10 years and 10 minutes, spoke to his son with disgust. You are not the man I raised. You have brought shame to our name. I am disappointed in you. Even Mama Easy, who had always favored her son, couldn't defend him now. Ada, I understand. My son was wrong. Very wrong. Ezzy remained on his knees, broken, as his entire family turned their backs on him. But something remarkable happened next. After several minutes of heavy silence, Auntie Blessing stood up. Well, this jollof rice is getting cold, and it's still Christmas. Slowly, the family began to move again. This time, they gathered around Ada. They filled her plate. They hugged her. They told her stories of their own struggles and survivals. The children resumed playing. Someone turned on music. Laughter, tentative at first, then genuine, returned to the compound. Ada smiled. For the first time that day, a real smile. She was surrounded by people who truly loved her. Not because she was someone's wife, but because she was Ada. Worthy. Strong. Free. Ezzy eventually stood up and left the compound. Nobody stopped him, nobody followed. 3 months later, Ada moved back to her mother's house. She filed for divorce. She got promoted at her teaching job because she finally had the energy to focus on herself. She started a small catering business that flourished. She laughed more. She slept better. She lived. Ezzy lost everything. His reputation in the community was destroyed. His business suffered because nobody wanted to work with a man who couldn't honor his wife. He tried to beg several times, but Ada never looked back. And every Christmas after that, the family would gather and tell the story of the Christmas of truth, when Ada taught them all that dignity is more powerful than drama. And so, that Christmas became known in the family as the Christmas of truth. Ada taught everyone watching that dignity is more powerful than drama. She didn't fight, she didn't scream, she simply exposed the truth and walked away with her head high. The elders say, a woman who respects herself will always have the respect of others. Ada's husband thought he could humiliate her publicly. Instead, he humiliated himself. This Christmas taught the family a lesson they'd never forget. Respect your wife, or the day will come when she'll stop respecting you. And when that day comes, in front of everyone you know, at the time you expect it least, the truth will be served colder than the jollof rice. Merry Christmas. And remember, character is who you are when nobody's watching. But karma makes sure everybody watches.